Savalkam. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute, Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome everyone. Chapter 12, Devotional Service. It's such a beautiful image here. Before we begin, let's pay our obeisances to Sri Radha Govinda and Srila Prabhupada. So synopsis of chapter 12. I think then we'll have summary of chapter. Usually we have summary of chapter 11 and then this. So in chapter 11, it was about universal form. So let's do this only. Okay, Lord Krishna shows his universal form in chapter 11. Arjuna's attachment to personal two-handed form. Arjuna, being attached to two-handed form, wants to clarify his position. Okay, so let's. So he's going to ask question here to Krishna. So Arjuna, hearing and seeing Lord's inestimable impersonal opulences, again wants to hear about devotional service to clarify his position as a devotee who works for Krishna as opposed to a gnani who renounces work. To clarify his position as being attached to the personal form of Krishna as superior to the universal form or the unmanifested Brahman. Let's understand this. So after he sees the universal form, what happens? Arjuna shares his experience and he also asks, Krishna, who are you? And Krishna says, Time I am. So, and he also gives this information saying that you can realize me only by devotional service. So we can realize Krishna. Krishna can be realized only by pure devotional service, not just by studying Vedas extensively or by performing sacrifices and charities and that and this. Krishna can be realized only, his mercy will be on us completely. We can attain his lotus feet and go back home only by following the by devotional service, pure devotional service. So this is the most important chapter actually. All the chapters are important, but here we actually get the, information in a direct way. Krishna himself is saying he does not recommend impersonalism. We get to know that. And then the universal form also consisted everything. We saw all the different universes, all the, we saw what all future, past, present, everything. And Arjuna was kind of frightened, he was bewildered, and then he offered prayers, and then he requested him to manifest his two-handed form. And then Krishna established the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga. Now he asks about personalists and impersonalists here. See, now in section A, Bhakti over impersonalism. In the first 7 verses, we see this clearly. Next, progressive stages of devotion from highest to lowest. First, from highest to lowest. First, Krishna talks about Ananya Bhakti, and then he says, if you can't do that, at least do this. If you still can't do this, then he gives us so many options. It's like different levels. So it's very interesting to learn that. And then qualities that endear one to Krishna. What are the qualities he's looking for in a person? What really, endears one to Krishna? So, and Krishna differentiates personalists and impersonalists, and then a devotee possesses all kind of glorious qualities. So many glorious qualities. There are so many examples also we'll study. So, Mataji, please recite this one, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Evam satata yukta me bhakta swam paryupasate ye chapya aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be most perfect? Those who are properly engaged in your devotional service. or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, transcendentalists can be divided into two classes, impersonalists and personalists. What do personalist devotees do? They worship the Lord directly by devotional service. Impersonalists, they meditate on the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. So, there are different processes of realization of the absolute truth. In this chapter, we get to know Bhakti Yoga is the highest, devotional service is the highest, and it is the most direct and the easiest way to associate with Krishna. Easiest means for association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, if we really desire for his association, what we should do? We should take up devotional service. So, now Arjuna is asking which is better because he is actually attached to the personal form of Krishna. So, he wants to know his position also. In every chapter, practically, the conclusion is that attachment to the personal form of Krishna is the highest is the highest spiritual realization. If you read all the chapters in the purports, this point is stressed again and again. Arjuna's question, which is more perfect, engaging in devotional service or worshippers of impersonal Brahman? So let's see. Two classes of transcendentalists, personalists. It's just a chart for us to revise. Engages himself with all energy in service of Supreme Lord. And then impersonal is engaged in meditation on impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. Conclusion of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita attached to personal form of the Lord. Living entity is spiritual spark. Absolute truth is spiritual whole. In the second chapter, we learned this. We are all souls, not the body. See, we have been taking birth again and again and again. And so it's very easy for us to identify ourselves with matter because body is matter. We are used to seeing matter and our senses are also limited. We can perceive easily if something is in the form of matter. So impersonal realization is not easy for us. So Krishna gives us a lot of opportunities in the form of Archa Vigraha and then, serving the spiritual master. That is easier. Now here, 6.47 says, Bhakti Yoga is the best of all yogas. Bhakti Yoga is the best. Living entity is part and parcel of the whole. Recommends one to transfer his full attention to the whole. Then in the 8th chapter, we learned this. Anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of death at once goes to the spiritual sky, to the abode, of his abode. Only way to have association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is through devotional service. So this chart actually makes it very, very clear. So there is no confusion at all. Let's see. This is about Archa Vigraha. Because many people think they call it idol worship. It is, it's so wrong actually. The deity is authorized representation of God, Krishna has his authorized representation in deity form. The deity is alive actually. So we cannot call it a doll or idol or anything like that. How important is this deity worship? We'll learn. Mataji, please recite this one also, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. मय्य आवेश मनो ये मा नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेतास ते मे युक्ततमा मताः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So these are Krishna's words. Who does he consider most perfect? So see, this deity worship in the temple is actually, authorized by Vedic literature. It is Saguna worship. Saguna worship. And the Lord is represented by material qualities such as, these deities are made of stone. It can be made of wood, oil, paint. So the Archa Vigraha is actually not material. We should not even consider it material. I was hearing some lecture in that some very senior devotees who have actually come in touch with Prabhupada. Since they were speaking about how Prabhupada used to deal with the deities. He installed so many, he like so many temples he opened. And then once he was actually touching the deity, Radha Krishna. And then it was as if it was so gentle, as if he's really touching Krishna. He was actually doing something on the face and he was touching the clothes and all. They could feel that as if, there's a person sitting there. And how do you deal with a person, How do you interact with a person like that? The deity was being treated like that. So they actually saw that and learned a lot. So it's like that. We should not think like that is just an idol sitting there. So, and he's omnipotent, all powerful. His energies are everywhere. It is like the best example given is a mailbox. If you have a letter that you want to send to a person, what you do, you put the address on the letter, post it in the mailbox. And the postman takes those letters and delivers it to the destination. It is like that. If you have all the, if you have a what do you call mailboxes that are imitations. Like you make your own mailbox and put it there and put the letter, it won't go anywhere. But a proper mailbox, which is actually, authorized. The postman actually comes and takes letters from there. So those letters will definitely reach the destination. That is like that. So these are authorized representation. So these deities are installed with lot of care and only an acharya and very seniors, they are the ones who really install them. So they are very much alive. We are all matter. Our body is temporary. So when we go to the temple, we think we are taking darshan. But Prabhuji was explaining the deity is also looking at us. So it's like Krishna is looking at us too. It is not one way. So he is actually looking at all his, we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. So we are going to perish, but the deity is going to stay. So because those are all eternal. It is very much alive. It is us who is temporary. They are eternal. Because we have this identity given to us in this body, whatever we are, until we are, we're giving up the body. Until then, our identity stays with that. As after that, we take up another body, or if we are really, really fortunate, we may go back home. So that is that is our situation. But the deities are not like that. So Lord Krishna, his opinion, those engaged in devotional service are the most perfect. Why most perfect? Because they fix their mind on my personal form, always engaged in worshipping me. Worship me with great and transcendental faith. That is why he talks about Ananya Bhakti now, which is a person, you can call him Ananya Bhakta only if his heart is filled with love completely, he goes into ecstasy whenever he thinks about Krishna. That kind of person is called Ananya Bhakta. We learn about that. So action in Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious activities are not material because everything is done for Krishna. They're not material activities at all. A pure devotee, it is like we are working for the satisfaction of the Lord, not for our satisfaction. When we are working in Krishna consciousness, everything is done for Him. So a pure devotee is in full samadhi because of his constant engagement, chanting, hearing. When he cooks, also he's thinking about Krishna. When he's shopping, also he's thinking about Krishna. He's washing the temple, dishes, whatever he's doing, he's not wasting one single moment at all. If you read this chapter, Akrura goes to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balram. In that chapter, the moment he comes to know, Kamsa calls him and says, "Go bring Krishna and Balram." He actually, his lamentation, fear, his pride, everything vanquished, it says. And he's actually an eternal devotee of the Lord. Externally, he's aristocratic, working for the king and all, but internally, in his heart, he's a devotee of the Lord. He goes so much into ecstasy, he won't even realize how he reached the destination. Constantly thinking, what will happen once I reach there? And once he reaches there, he sees footprints of Krishna. He rolls on the mud. He says, the greatest of the greatest people, all the sages, demigods, everybody, they just wants to take darshan of his lotus feet. He's so fortunate that the footprints are there. Krishna's footprints were different. They're not like ours. You can see what all was there. Elephant gold was there. So many things were there. So people, whoever saw his footprints, for some reason they wouldn't step on it. They would walk around it. All the Brajavasis and also the footprints stayed wherever he went sometimes. So people would say, oh, Krishna has gone this way and that way. So Kakrura saw that. constantly thinking about him. He could not get him out of his mind. And when he reached the destination, it felt like a very short journey because he was completely in samadhi all through the journey. So whatever a devotee does, everything, is constantly thinking about Krishna, and all his activities are also dedicated to Krishna. So this one, would someone like to read this? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
But am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, you are very clear.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, unconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. By practicing yoga, people try to stop the mind from thinking, but it is impossible. The goal of life is not to become unconscious, but to become superconscious. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, it is like they may try to control their various senses. They become very austere. They work for the welfare of everyone. They do various welfare activities, but they're still not perfect. Perfection means surrendering to Krishna and engaging in devotional service. That's given in the purport very clearly. Now, what is happening is Krishna is saying those who are actually doing all this, you see an image here, is actually sitting and meditating, in the impersonal form of Krishna. So, which is even if they want their ultimate destination of Brahma Jyoti or whatever it is, they reach there, they may get knowledge, but they will never get bliss. Okay, because the happiness you have in association with another person, that we cannot have because they're trying to give up their identity by merging into the Brahmajyoti. They think, oh, there will be no feelings, no emotions. I will just hang in there. So there's no relationship, no activity, nothing. That is their goal. But actually, a living person, happiness comes from a living person having another relationship with a living person. Matter cannot make us happy, or this of impersonal attachment cannot. But what Krishna is saying is, even if this is the case, a person is actually fully worshipping the unmanifested, which lies beyond the perception of senses. It's not easy at all. But we can sense everything around us through our senses. Beyond the perception of senses, which is very, very difficult and risky, there is a risk of becoming an atheist also. A person who's trying to understand the absolute truth in these ways, he can become an atheist very easily, and is trying to understand the absolute truth, the all pervading, inconceivable. Krishna is saying such a person also ultimately has to become a devotee. He will also come to me only. That is the ultimate destination. But it may take time. It may take various births, many, many births. The man of wisdom will finally seek refuge in me. That also happens because of the mercy of a pure devotee. Like how we came in touch with Krishna consciousness. Maybe it was just a message, or somebody called us and said, there's this Bhagavad Gita course going on. They're teaching Prabhupada's, Bhagavad Gita as it is. Would you like to come? It's something like this. A mercy happens, and then we go through this course and hear and chant and follow all the rules and everything. Then that is also mercy. So, like that, if by chance an impersonalist comes in touch with a devotee, then he has a chance. From there he will really make a progress very fast, and ultimately he'll achieve him only. Saying that at last achieve me. So, perfection is to become Krishna's devotee, like surrender to Krishna. Then, like examples are given of Hanuman. Hanuman is just happy serving the Lord. That's his only goal. And Garuda also is very, very. Garuda is a devotee of the Lord. He's always there to serving the Lord. So through the Archa Vigraha, we can perceive. Archa Vigraha we can actually perceive by our senses. So we can decorate the Archa Vigraha, offer bhoga, and when you decorate the deity, all our material, we want to decorate ourselves. We have this, right? We can look around and say, and we also want to decorate our face, like decorate our hair, that and this, and then some people are to extreme situations. They can spend hours together decorating themselves. So the moment you start decorating Krishna or decorating Radha, Radharani, all our desires will be satisfied. We will not feel like decorating anything else anymore, because that is the ultimate perfection. So decorating Archa Vigraha, we don't get that opportunity so easily. Only a Brahminical kind of a person, who is initiated twice or thrice, or that is also comes from the mercy of the spiritual master. If he's allowed, then he can worship the deity, touch the deity and all. Not everyone gets to do that. But the moment they get to, we can do our own Krishna at home, decorate him, offer bhog, feel happy. We have no Jagannath, we have at home, and then we have so many Krishna pictures at home, we'll have so many things. So we feel so happy just looking at the beautiful smile of Krishna and all that. So that way our material desires also will get satisfied. That way we'll not even have any more desires, material desires. They say the moment you start eating prasadam and start feeding your family also prasadam, and then you all make all this lifestyle changes, we can see a big difference. Our outlook towards life will change, our tastes will change. We become a different person altogether. Comparatively slowly we make progress, and the ultimate perfection is this only, working for Krishna. Whatever we are doing externally, we have to do whatever we have to do. But in our heart of the hearts, we are working. We should know that Krishna is in control and nothing actually belongs to me. All I have to do is serve the Lord. So those who worship unmanifested will also reach Krishna eventually and surrender. Characteristics of impersonal conception of absolute truth. So now, characteristics of impersonal conception of absolute truth, unmanifested, beyond sense perception. It's all pervading. They say, God is all pervading. They're trying to focus on this. Inconceivable. It's not easy to conceive. We cannot, Krishna himself is inconceivable. His energies are everywhere. So even in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada is explaining this. This impersonal is try to separate the material world from the Lord. The material world is not separate from the Lord. It is the Lord's energy. He actually owns it. So it belongs to him. So they separate it, saying that I'll renounce this material world. What is Brahman, what is not Brahman. I'll separate and I will try to understand and learn this. That's how they look at it. Or some people separate the material from the Lord and want to enjoy. They say this material world is for enjoyment only. I don't worry about the Lord. I'll just enjoy the material world. I'll be so happy, satisfying my senses. So that is their attitude. Both are actually not right, because everything is the Lord's energy only. He is everywhere. He is in the heart of every living being. So it's unchanging, it's fixed, immovable. These are the characteristics of impersonal conception. Now, how to worship the unmanifested? By controlling various senses. See, this person is trying to do that. So by being equally disposed to everyone, a person who is actually trying to progress in this way, in personal conception, he also starts, treating everyone as spirit sparks only, by engaging in welfare for all. Difficult, it is not easy for a common person to just focus on something that senses cannot perceive. The God is right there, but I'll try to perceive him. That kind of worship is very, very difficult. It's saying that difficult for any common man. Much penance involved before the ultimate realization of full surrender takes place. So, how do we approach the Lord? So, in order to perceive the super soul within the individual soul, the super soul and the individual soul, they're always together. They have to stop this hearing, tasting, seeing, everything. It is not easy. Like you're closing your eyes, there may be sound, but you should not hear. Try to shut that. Of course, there will be fragrance coming of flowers or something. Who knows what all disturbance will be there in the forest, but they just have to somehow shut everything. It's not easy. completely focus and meditate. So it is a very difficult, very, very lengthy process also. It may take years and years and years. And what happens after all this, they may attain some peace. They feel, I'm so peaceful. I sat there quietly and tried to focus on something. I felt so peaceful. But there is no eternal benefit if they are, this is going to ultimately take a long time, and the destination is the same. They have to go through the. It's like either you take the elevator or you take the steps. You have to come to the same place. So it's not easy for the common man. So he's saying this. Oh, Mataji, please recite this one, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तसत्यचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिर अवाप्यते. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. How do they understand the unmanifested representation of the Supreme Lord? By studying Vedic literature. They study, they discuss, and then they have to understand the language also. It's not easy. And that's how they try to understand the absolute truth. And then, so Bhakti Yogis are in full Krishna consciousness, as we know, but these are actually this path of inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, which they're trying to understand. They are Gnana Yogis, actually. Gnana, they're also called Gnana Yogis. Okay, path of impersonal is troublesome, very difficult. Again, the point is being stressed here. The two groups of transcendentalists, both ultimately come to the same goal. These are all repeated so many times so that when you actually face a question, you can easily answer. Bhakti Yogis, those persons who are in full Krishna consciousness and engage in devotional service of the Lord. Gnana Yogis, who are they? Gnana Yogis are those who follow the path of inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of Supreme Lord. This is the difference, Gnana Yogis and Bhakti Yogis. It's more like academic study, but actually it's very easy to understand because we see this kind of people around us. Okay, now comparison of impersonalists and personalists. There are a lot of impersonalists in the world. There are many people give class on impersonalism. They actually give speech on that, and hundreds of people sit and hear that also. It's happening. Would somebody like to read this? Actually, compare in terms of practice. This table. Would you like to read, Mataji? Vinda Mataji, would you like to read? Hare Krishna. She usually reads.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Impersonalist. In terms of practice, meditate on formulas difficult for embodied. Personalist. Meditate on form of deity easy for embodied. Impersonalist. Unmanifested is beyond the senses, restricts the senses. Personalist. Senses can perceive the deity and sound of mantra, engages the senses. Impersonalist. Must understand the Brahman through Upanishads, etc. Learn the language Sanskrit, understand the non-perceptual feelings. Personalist. Understand Krishna through devotional service. Simple chanting Hare Krishna. Guidance of bona fide spiritual master. Simply by offering regulative obeisances unto the deity, hearing the glories of the Lord, eating the remnants of foodstuff offered to the Lord. Impersonalist. Long practice makes it difficult to take up bhakti. Personalist. Completely natural. Impersonalist. Troublesome. No relationship with the Lord. Personalist. Miseries mitigated by relationship with Krishna. Impersonalist. Depends on our own endeavor. Personalist. Krishna delivers devotee from Maya. Why? Because Krishna himself recommends the process. Out of paternal love by his causeless mercy.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna
so
Mataji.
much. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
What
Krishna.
does a Krishna conscious person do? He works under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So whatever the spiritual master is saying, he has to follow that. Because we cannot say, okay, now I know I have to worship Krishna, I'll do it my way. That doesn't work like that. Because we need a guru who who actually understands the science of Krishna consciousness, or who really actually seen the absolute truth, who realized it, a self-realized person. We need somebody like that, completely liberated, to liberate us. So what Krishna conscious person does, he works for a spiritual master under his guidance, and he follows all the rules and regulations set by him. Offers obeisances to. It is very natural, completely natural. If we say, okay, eat a prasadam, it's something we enjoy doing that too, right? There's so much joy. Eat the prasadam, sing the kirtan, dance in the kirtan, and then what else we do? Everything like you see early morning. If you have attended the Mangalarti sessions and all, if you have seen how beautiful the deities look, we can see take their darshan. There's so much joy in doing devotional service. But here it is very, very difficult. What do? They have to study the Upanishads. They have to learn the language Sanskrit, understand the non-perceptual feelings. It is like they have to really understand what they are reading. And like sometimes they do it in a group also. They have of course, they have a teacher. They sit up and they sit and discuss all this. And there is no relationship with the Lord. Here, the moment we surrender, we start offering hope to the Lord, chant his name over and over. Krishna starts taking control. It's like a child approaches the father. Father becomes very happy. So he completely takes control of the child's future and safety and everything. So Krishna personally takes us out of this miserable condition that we are in. So devotees are actually fearless. They are under the guidance of the spiritual energy, and they're completely fearless. Like just like how I was talking about Akrura, the moment he came to know that he has to go and meet Krishna, he was fearless. Kamsa is not a joke. He has killed his sister's children. He can kill Akrura's family also. Very dangerous person. But come Akrura suddenly, he got ready to go bring Krishna. He says, it's explained in Bhagavatam like that. He became fearless. No, I mean, he forgot, like, okay, now Krishna he's going to bring Krishna. Krishna is going to come here. Everything will be all right. Krishna is going to take control of this situation. Now don't have to worry, because everybody in this kingdom is, they're not happy under Kamsa's rule. So fearless, no lamentation, and also he gave up, no pride, because coming from aristocratic background, he is going to offer obeisances to cowherd boys. And he says, why only Krishna? I'm going to pay my obeisances to all his associates, because everybody must be special there. All his friends, everyone in Vrindavan. He's been spending so much time with them. I'm going to, give my offer obeisance to each and everyone. He's giving up his false pride. I'm such a great person. I'm this and that. No, he just knows that he is nobody but just a surrendered soul to Krishna, and his duty is to serve the Lord. He becomes completely fearless and so much joy. A person who is completely surrendered to Krishna is always joyful, because he knows Krishna is in control. And here, self endeavor, it says that depends on our own endeavor. You see how much endeavor. Look at this person, how he's struggling to control his senses. Here we are engaging our senses in the Lord's service. Look at that eyes. You want to use your eyes for the Lord. Take his darshan, and then use the hands to do something for Krishna. Walk to the holy places, and then speak about Krishna. Try to read and hear about Krishna. All our senses we can use in this way, and we can see our heart getting purified. Prabhupada says, all the anarthas, they get washed away just by doing this, just by hearing, eating prasad, serving the Lord, and chanting all this. We are actually, the process is so purifying. Automatically we are reaching the highest stage. Comparison of Bhagavan versus Brahman. Personalists, they talk about Brahman a lot. So that's why this table. In terms of realization, Brahman versus Bhagavan. Brahman is Nirguna, without qualities. Saguna, with form and qualities. See, Bhagavan, when we say Nirguna, that means he has no material qualities. No material qualities. And also talking about the three modes of material nature, we'll be doing that in the, that chapter is coming up anyway. Krishna is beyond that. Mode of goodness, a mode of passion, or mode of ignorance, is completely the controller of the modes. So in our own way, we can look at people around us. We'll say this person is in a bad mood. This person is, oh, morning he was in a good mood. Now he is in a bad mood. This person is always in actually good mood. 99% of the time, we talk like this. He's very good. He's this. We make our own judgments. So those are nothing but different modes. If morning we are in the mode of goodness, all fresh and so happy, and then slowly by 9 o'clock, we're in the mode of passion because so much pending work, anxiety builds up. That has to be submitted. This has to be done, something, something, something. And by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the person is in the mode of ignorance. Nobody talk to me, no disturbance. I just want to crash and go sleep. Like that. That's how people are living, right? These three modes are working. But the Lord is beyond all this. He does not have material qualities. That's what it means. If somebody says Bhagavan is Nirgun, that means no material qualities. He still has qualities. He has form. He has all the qualities that we have are coming from him only. And then Brahman is inconceivable. Bhagavan possesses inconceivable potencies. We cannot understand his potencies. It's like Duryodhana could not understand Krishna. I thought he's a magician. This guy does magic. Something is very different about Krishna. This thing is a magician. That's how much he could understand. But Krishna's potencies, nobody can understand. He possesses inconceivable potencies. And Brahman is all pervading, and Bhagavan is all pervading by energy and as super soul. He accompanies us after we give up body also. He comes with us. He's the only person who's always with us. Just like a parent. We are the ones who want to go and enjoy our life. We want to be the boss. But he says, oh, dear child, you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to be with you all the time. So the super soul accompanies the soul, is the only well-wisher and best friend we have. It's us, we are turning away from him. If the moment we actually, start taking his instructions and take care of, our, the moment we surrender, everything changes. So here, Brahman is unchanging, fixed and immovable. Bhagavan changing, fixed and unchanging, fixed and immovable. Then cannot perceive any opulence because of lack of activity. In this impersonalism, there is no activity. They just want to hang in there. They really go and merge with, stay in the Brahmajyoti. There's no activity. So there's no joy. But here, okay, cannot perceive any opulence because of lack of activity, and possessor of 6 opulences in full. Risk of not realizing absolute truth at the end. So after all the studies and all the Ashtanga yoga and all the exercise, austerity, charity, sacrifice, everything, there is this risk that you do not understand what is the absolute truth completely. Nothing only we have understood. This can happen. This might take millions of years also. But there is always success. Success is guaranteed as nothing is lost. 1% of service done to Krishna, he will not forget. We know in the case of Draupadi also, she just tied that little thing, and then he promised that he's going to be there forever, and then he was there when she called him Govinda, when this Duryodhana, Dushasana and his associates were trying to disrobe her. She called him, she surrendered. She said, Govinda, and he was there to help her. Nobody helped her. She has 5 husbands. Not one person could help her. The material relationships are like that only. So he's the only one who can actually help us. How he does it, it's up to him. He is very, very supremely intelligent. So we surrender and he takes control. So it is like that. Success is guaranteed as nothing is lost. Salpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Like for instance, in this, now we are hearing Prabhupada, reading all this, whatever service we can do, we do based on what is assigned to us. That also is assigned. We cannot ask for it, right? That is also mercy. If by chance whatever we are doing, we cannot really go back to Godhead. Like maybe, we not 100% we cannot. Next birth, Krishna will give us an opportunity to continue from where we stopped. So we don't have to start from scratch. So start from where 40% you scored last time, start from 41%. It's like that. So nothing is lost. Spiritual work is like that. It is eternal benefit. Material life is not like that. So may realize the eternal Sat and knowledge, aspects of his original nature, only partial realization, because they can realize the eternal, they can realize the knowledge, but there is no bliss there. There is no, the complete realization is not there. So realizes eternity, one who is worshipping the Bhagavan. Okay, difference between Brahman and Bhagavan. Bhagavan realizes eternity, knowledge, and bliss, includes Brahman and Paramatma realization. So devotee actually understands, complete everything. But nobody can understand Krishna or his potencies. But this much he'll understand that, my constitutional position is such that I'm subordinate. All I have to do is surrender and just work for him. So Krishna does not advise or encourage this process of centering our attention on the unmanifested, inconceivable, which is beyond the approach of our senses. He is not actually recommending this. Okay, Hare Krishna Mataji, please recite this one.
Hare Krishna. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मा ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषाम् अहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्यु संसार सागरा भवानी च चिरत् पार्थ मय्यावेशित चेतसाम्. For one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pritha, for him I am the for him
I am the swift deliverer from
I
the
am
ocean
the
of
sweet
birth and
deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So pure devotee does not desire any achievement. It's not like material achievement, like, I succeed, I become this and that. There was this nice, beautiful instance of someone, it seems one politician visited a temple, and there was this priest. I think it is in some foreign temple, not in India, some foreign temple he visited. Then he was talking to the priest in that ISKCON temple, and asked, how long have you been serving? And then he said, I've been serving for 35 years or so, a long time. Then I said, you've been a priest for so long. He said, yes. So is there no promotion? Then he was like, in spiritual world, every job is important, It's not like that. This promotion, there's nothing of the stars, the sort. So he was like, no, that concept is not there. So his only goal is to please Krishna. That's all. He's not looking for any personal achievement. Or, oh, I got this degree. You cannot really actually show. Some Mataji was taking a class in another language, and very senior person. Somebody asked this, I have this and that, and I get all these degrees in all these spiritual um, textbooks and all. What do I do? That person was saying, can you show that to Yamaraj and say, look, I have this degree. I've actually passed this. Can you not take me? I want to go to Vaikuntha. Can you say that? Are we really, what qualification do we have? Everything depends on the Lord's mercy only. We cannot really demand, like, I finished this course, so let me go to Vaikuntha. It does not work like that. So the only goal is to please the Lord, and the Lord takes control. He is watching. He knows our heart. Prabhupada says he can see the heart. See, Akrura was externally serving Kamsa, but Krishna knows in his heart he's a very soft-hearted person, and he is filled with love for Krishna. He knows that when he approaches, and Akrura thinks, I'm so unqualified, I'm so fallen. So he says, even if Krishna comes and hugs me, I'm going to just stand like this, fold my hands and stand, because no arrogance, no going and running and hugging him and all, just standing like this, fold, firmly. And then when Krishna actually sees him, he's standing like that only. And then Krishna extends his hand, and the hand that has chakra, that's the hand is extending. So it was very visible, saying that I'm ready, I'm very much capable of taking you all out of this misery. I can kill Kamsa. So he said, not to worry, that's kind of, and Krishna's smile was so beautiful. He could not really explain. He was speechless. He didn't know what to say also. So like that, they're just happy, just looking at the Lord, and they see Krishna smile, they are happy. In the spiritual world, Prabhuji was explaining how Goloka Vrindana actually is what we see in this Vrindavan is just a replica of that Goloka Vrindavana. There, they just want to see Krishna happy. There is no competition going on, or there is no envy going on between them. It is just a lot of pastimes and total harmony. So it is like that, and Krishna himself will personally take control of the devotee's life. He takes charge. Like Prabhupada always gave credit to his Krishna only, and his spiritual master for everything that happened. It's like that. It is all Krishna's mercy. And the process is very simple. All we have to do is chant his name, and we are connected to him already. Krishna's, his name and him are not different. So it is actually written. It says, the moment you start chanting, it's like he's dancing on our tongue already, We already are making the connection. Just that we have to be careful not to commit. Even without, like Narayana, Narayana, Ajamila was screaming. He was shouting for his child. Still he got the mercy. So a person who actually doesn't know the importance or significance of Hare Krishna also may get benefit. That's how powerful it is. But still, since we know, we should be very careful while chanting. Try to focus and chant. Prabhupada says, try to do that. So it's so easy. Just chant and he's already, watching us. He knows what to do with us. Progressive stages of devotion. Living within Krishna by continuously fixing our mind and intelligence upon him, practicing the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga to increase one's desire and ability to remember and obtain Krishna, surrendering one's work to Krishna, surrendering to Krishna, the result of one's work, cultivating meditation or knowledge. See, no need to get confused. So what Krishna has been telling now is Ananya Bhakti is very important. Ananya Bhakta is that is the highest stage. And please do Ananya Bhakti. Think about me, serve me, worship me. That's what he's been telling. A person who cannot actually do that, it's not easy for everyone to always think about Krishna or have this love for him. For a mother, it is very easy to think about her child. She doesn't have to put any efforts. She knows her baby, out of love, she can think about him anytime. If she finds some toy, oh, this is my baby's toy, she'll pick it and keep. See, these are socks. Immediately she'll think about the baby. So for a mother, how easy it is. That's how easy it is for an Ananya Bhakta to remember Krishna all the time. But if a person cannot do Ananya Bhakta, then Krishna says, no problem. Do Sadhana Bhakti. Just follow all the rules and regulations set by the spiritual master. Somebody says, no, I cannot do that also. Regulative principles are very difficult. I cannot do. Then he says, do something for me. Nishkama Karma Yoga. In the next few slides, we'll see that in detail. You can do Nishkama Karma Yoga, come to the temple, or, there are people who Vaishnavas who need a lot of, there's a lot of activity, a lot of work. Sometimes they need to, there's so many, services there. So anybody can go and offer some work at the temple or just help them in some way or the other. They may need, they need a lot of resources to spread Krishna consciousness and to glorify the Lord. There are a lot of things are required. So a person can contribute in that way without expecting anything in return. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. One says, no, I can't do that also. He says, at least do Sakama Karma, do something. It is like Sakama Karma, the moment you say yoga means there is a connection there to the Lord. Sakama Karma is like there is no, it's just for, just for us. Nishkama Karma Yoga is, say you are doing an activity and the activity is also for Krishna, the result is also for Krishna. It's like you cook for 100 people in the temple. You're not looking for any fame or any praise or anything. You just did it for Krishna. The activity is also for Krishna. The service is for Krishna. The fruits are also for Krishna. That making a garland for that matter. You're very good in making garland. You make a garland, you just offer it. That is one thing. And if a person who is Sakama Karma, like what happens is here, he would expect at least some return. Like if there is a flower seller, just an example, he's selling the garland for 10 rupees. He may say, oh, this is for the temple, let me sell it half price. A beautiful garland for 5 rupees. So he still got something in return, but he has given something. So there is that going on. This is okay, you cannot do this also. This also you cannot do. At least, he gives a lot of develop knowledge about me. Just at least develop knowledge about me. Okay, that is also difficult. See, develop knowledge. What happens once a person starts developing knowledge about Krishna, slowly he'll start meditating on him. That will lead to meditation. Then he says, okay, that also I cannot do. Somebody is saying, then Krishna says, okay, at least give. He's not even saying give it to me, just give. Because according to our different, Varnashrama, this one, like householders are supposed to give charity. There are some rules set that they have to follow all those prescribed duties. So a person knows, householders actually do some charity. So a person who gives is better than a person who doesn't give anything at all. At least start from there. That is the lowest rung. He started from Ananya Bhakti. Now Krishna's come to this now. He's saying, give. Don't worry about me. Just try to give. Why? Because the heart will become very hard. A person who cannot offer anything to another person, cannot give charity, cannot donate something, his heart will be very, very hard. So, that's a very dangerous thing. So at least start from there. So that person also has a chance of slowly climbing the yoga ladder. So people who are actually building hospitals, donating clothes and food and whatever, they also will slowly climb the ladder. They come to the stage of Sakama and then Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then they will develop knowledge and they meditate. And then there is a chance that one day they will actually become Ananya Bhaktas. So all this is explained very nicely with a lot of examples. We can actually stop here and maybe we'll do 2 more slides. We still have time. And then next chapter, next session, we'll continue from where we stopped. Mataji, please read this one, Mataji. Very beautiful image. Hare Krishna. Please chant, Mataji.
मय्येव मन आधस्त्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. These are all Krishna's very close, intimate friends. And you see, all of them he's sitting in the center. They're just happy looking at him. And the thing is, whoever is sitting at the back, they also could see his face, it seems. That is magic, divine. I don't know how. But they also got his darshan. So all of them, he's the center. There's so much unity here. All of them have love for Krishna. There's so much, there's no difference of opinion. Krishna is the center. They're just enjoying his company. He's smiling, they're happy. They eat with him, they feed him. They're just having a lovely time. So that is how devotees are. The pure devotees get this benediction. So the moment we start chanting, his potency is dancing on our tongue. We should not forget. And just eat Krishna Prasad and you become Krishnaized. That's what Prabhupada writes. Just eating the remnants offered to the Lord. So it's very clear. The verse is very clear. Just fix up your mind on me, fix your mind upon me, and then engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Krishna says without a doubt. In so many verses he says, have no doubt. Perform devotional service by thinking exclusively of Krishna. Topmost is pure devotional service. This is what we were talking about, Ananya Bhakti. Fix mind upon me, engage all your intelligence in me. The benefit is you will live in me always without a doubt. Okay, that was just a revision. Then Mataji will do this verse also. Mataji. Please recite Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो माम् इच्छाप्तु धनञ्जय. My dear Arjuna, O winner of the wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, you will develop a desire to attend to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So he's saying, If you cannot fix your mind upon me, at least follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. How do we know what are the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga? The spiritual master can guide. He knows. It's like in a classroom, teacher knows, right? There are first standard or kindergarten students sitting there, and the teacher is actually taking control of those children. She actually knows how to teach them, how to the story time or how to make them recite the rhymes. So an expert teacher knows. So spiritual master actually knows how to take us to the next level. So the teacher, in case if somebody is teaching preschool, doesn't mean if a person is teaching A, B, C, D, that doesn't mean that person knows only A, B, C, D. She must have gone to school and college and beyond also and got a degree in education, whatever. Then only that person is come here to teach preschool. So it's like that a spiritual master is actually seen the truth. He is, he is like Mahabhagavata. So he is very much, he understands each and every person. And Prabhupada also, if you see, he was guiding each of his disciples in a different way. He knew who is good at what service, how to guide them, how to instruct them. It was so beautifully done. We can see his leadership so beautifully. You would understand different people very nicely. So spiritual master can actually cleanse us from inside and outside. He will do that. Because what is happening in this world, in this material existence, the senses are always impure because we are always doing it for sense gratification. I like this, I will eat this. I'm feeling something, so I will drink this. Everything is done, for satisfying my senses. So Bhakti Yoga actually teaches us, our senses become purified. And the moment they come in directly in touch with the Lord's service, senses become purified and we know what we are supposed to do. So Yananya Bhakta actually knows. So now he spoke about regulative principles here. So we'll do this. Follow regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. So what is he supposed to do? Wake up in the morning. There are a lot of rules. Wake up in the morning, chant, take a bath, then chant, then offer bhog, eat the prasad. Okay. If one cannot perform this, then follow the regulative principles of bhakti yoga and you will develop a desire to attain me. Those who have not developed attachment of Krishna. So there are steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Follow this and then you will reach there. Nice. They're guiding us actually step by step. And Krishna himself is guiding us here. How to achieve the stage of pure love? Practice devotional service with perfect present senses. How to follow regulations of devotional service? Guidance of a guru. We need a guru. We cannot do it by ourselves. It's not going to happen. Qualifications to practice. Anyone can practice. Prabhupada gave this mercy to so many people. They were all really dirty. When he started teaching Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita to all these hippies, it seems he has recorded. Just today's Bhagavatam class went very well. All who were the students, all hippies, and how many handful. But he was very happy. Anyone, he was giving this instruction to these people were what is their qualification, right? But what happened? Slowly they became purified. He could completely change them inside out. So that's the mercy. Anyone can practice. That's the qualification. Anybody can approach Krishna. There is no restriction. Guarantee of success. There is surety of love of Godhead. Krishna himself is going to guide us from inside and externally also. He'll provide us a lot of opportunities so that we can progress. So we'll do one thing. We have done half the chapter. We'll discuss the rest with a lot of examples also in the next session.